I must admit that tonight, as I'm getting ready to undress, put on my lingerie, lay down, relax, and eventually fall asleep, I'm a little bit nervous about tomorrow, Monday, May the 6th, tonight, of course, being Sunday, May the 5th. I already shared previously my concerns regarding our current president, Joe Biden. I mentioned how the asteroid Apophis was close to his Pax Fortuna, his lot of fortune in his natal horoscope, and my concerns regarding his health, which so far seem to have not surfaced, but who knows. But what I haven't mentioned yet is my own natal horoscope and my own zodiacal loosing of the bonds. And of course, this zodiacal loosing of the bonds is one of the so-called Time Lord techniques of ancient Hellenistic astrology, which is very similar to my attempts at the restoration of ancient Hebrew astrology. Of course, this is a rather complex astrological calculation, and again, I was born a blonde, so I'm sometimes a blonde bimbo, and I can't say that I fully understand how all of this works, and so I have made mistakes recently, but I'm trying and learning, and I'm fairly smart sometimes. I'm definitely educated. I'm well educated, but I'm not the most intelligent person on the planet. Some of these calculations are found on page 555 of the book Hellenistic Astrology by Mr. Chris Brennan. And of course, I love Hebrew numerology, gematria, so the number 555, I think, may have some significance. Of course, in my own natal horoscope, I have one of these zodiacal loosings of the bonds tomorrow, Monday, May the 6th, in this case at level 4 in Cancer, which ends up being 25 days, which ends up being 25 days, I'm not smart enough to figure out the math for which date it is in my head at this moment. Anyways, I think this may show a significant change happening in my life, really beyond my control, because the Pax Fortuna, the lot of fortune, deals with aspects of fate, versus the Pax Spiritus, the lot of spirit, more deals with things that are within my own volition. The zodiac sign of Cancer, of course, represents things like emotional security, insecurity, the home or the sense of home, some of those types of things. Whereas the zodiac sign of Sagittarius, in regards to current President Joe Biden's horoscope, represents such things as like higher knowledge, education, long-distance travel, optimism. Indeed, on August 30th, 1980, just a couple of days after my birthday that year, I had a zodiacal loosing of the bonds in Sagittarius, and I think that this signified about 12 days later when my mom and my stepdad moved my brother and I across country as children from Utah to New Jersey. This, of course, was a very significant aspect of my own life, as well as I think that of my brother. I also had another one of these zodiacal loosing of the bonds on December 26th of 1981, this time at level 3 instead of level 4, basically signifying 12 weeks and not just 12 days. I think this was another rather significant time in my life. It was around the time when I had my first, because around that time I had my first vision of a end time scenario. And also, as around that time, I had my first crush on a boy named Tom, who gave me my first kiss. I also had another one of these zodiacal releasings in the sign of Sagittarius on November 15th of 1997, which was another significant point in my life. Around that time was when I first began to become a dispensationalist, and when I was living in Utah for a short period with my aunt and my cousin. And obviously at the second level, it represents 12 months. So this was right around the time where I ended up moving back to New Jersey, where I then moved to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to attend Philadelphia Biblical University, where I obtained my 2 degrees in Biblical Studies and Jewish Studies. Later, I also had a zodiacal loosing of the bonds in Capricorn on May 17th of 2000, which was another significant time for me because this was the time when I made my Aliyah, my pilgrimage to the state of Israel. This time it was in the zodiac sign of Capricorn at level 4, representing 27 days. Then at level 3, also in the zodiac sign of Capricorn, representing 27 weeks, on September 12th of 2001, right after September 11th, I had another one of these zodiacal loosing of the bonds. And this was a significant time for me as well, because this was when I decided to really just be true to myself and live like this. This was also a significant turning point in my life because at this time I embraced my full femininity and I adopted the verse Jeremiah 31:22 as my own, which says, "How long will you turn away, apostate daughter? Tetragrammaton shall create a novelty in the land. A male hero shall encompass a female." And more recently, also in the zodiac sign of Capricorn, I had another zodiacal loosing of the bonds on August 2nd, 2017. And I think this was a significant turning point for me as well, because of at that time there was the Great American Solar Eclipse, which really renewed my interest in astrology on a whole nother level, as well as my fears that Donald Trump, the President of the United States of America at that time, may be the literal Antichrist or the best candidate, having seemed to have come in his own Trump brand name, according to what Jesus allegedly said in the Gospel of John. However, I do not believe in supernaturalism. I think that supernaturalism is an absurd superstition, and therefore when I say that I think Donald Trump may be the literal Antichrist, I do not mean like some Damien from the Omen movies in Hollywood or anything like that, but just a real, true life threat to our democracy. Of course, the zodiac sign of Capricorn deals more with issues of personal empowerment or opportunities to promote oneself, stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see how tomorrow this zodiacal loosing of my bonds in Cancer begins to just affect my life in regards to my sense of home, my sense of security, stuff like that. But of course, these issues have me a little bit concerned, probably because it deals with securities and insecurities in the 4th house of astrology. Now, as I mentioned in my previous video regarding my concerns for current President Joe Biden, zodiacal releasing technique is one that involves the zodiac sign sometimes jumping to the opposite sign rather than continuing in the following sign, and the zodiacal loosing of the bonds ends up being where one of these signs is from its opposite sign. And these are not necessarily common things. I've only had a few so far throughout my entire life. But I do think these are all significant factors, and when you put them together, they really seem to place our lives into basically chapters of our life. Tomorrow, Monday, May 6th, Saturn has a semi-square aspect to Pluto, which I prefer to refer to as primum mobile. The semi-square is not often used by Hellenistic astrologers. However, I do use it for my Hebrew astrology, and it represents some sort of conflict or struggle. I think it may also be significant that tomorrow is Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day. I've probably been infatuated with Judaism since I got my first kiss from Tom, a Jewish boy, when I was a kid. And now I myself am a Jew, having converted from Christianity to Judaism in 2003. Thank you for listening. I'm Stephanie Michelle. Shalom. Peace. Bye.